I be? I kissed her and she kissed me. Like the fella once said, ain't that a kick in the head? Hello, everybody. This is Talent Time with Don Edward. In case you don't know what Talent Time is, it's an interview with lots of wonderful local artists that so many people in the local area aren't aware of. And today, I'm so excited. Not only is he a talented artist, but he's also my good friend, Ricky Gagnon.
Hi, John. Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be part of the show.
I'm so glad to have you here today.
Yeah, it's nice. It's a great set, great place.
So why don't, in a few words, why don't you tell the audience a little bit of what you do, and then we noticed that you brought
I have some interesting pieces of art, some colorful work.
Beautiful creations.
Yeah, I'm a local artist. I've been living in Rhode Island my whole life. I never really studied art in school, but my education is more in mechanical drawing and architecture. So once you kind of see some of my paintings, you'll see a lot of those influences in the work. I've been painting since I was a small child. I basically worked in everything, ceramics, fabric. I've always been very into all kinds of art. And so in the late 90s, I bought a house, a little beach cottage in Riverside, and that sort of got me thinking about doing this house over in sort of a beach theme, 50s and 60s kind of a theme, because I live right near the carousel. And so because I had years of collecting, I'm a big antique person in yard sales, and my house is full of stuff, full of a little too much stuff, I think. But so I was trying to find ways of incorporating the painting and all of these collectible items that I've had into my art. So as I was working on the house and rehabbing it, I was finding a lot of old pieces that nobody wanted. I would buy a piece of furniture for $5 somewhere, and I started creating like themed pieces of furniture for my whole house. It started in like one room, and then that ended up going to another room. And so it basically traveled through the entire house. So
looking around, I can see that you've incorporated a lot of your unusual finds. How about showing us some of
I'd love
pieces?
to. I'll start with the paintings. I've been painting now mostly for probably about 8 years. I never really oddly painted that much. I always dabbled and worked in everything else but. And what happened was I sort of ran out of room in my house with the furniture pieces, so I finally decided to try painting, and now I have way too many paintings.
So can you explain to us some of the
my style is very colorful, very energetic. It's kind of a mix of, this is technically not really an abstract piece, but my coloring is certainly abstract. It's kind of a mix of abstract pop art, outside of art. It's also called, it's another genre that it's referred to as. And I just will get a theme for a piece, and I will try to map it out on a painting. Some things like this have to be sort of sketched out for spacing. You can kind of see my influences with the mechanical drawing. I like everything measured, and I like my clean lines.
Lots of unique jewels on here.
Yeah, these are actually the beads. Some of them are part of some of the collections that I have. These beads are from the 50s. I found these, a big, huge container of them at a yard sale. And then I try to incorporate with always paint, acrylic paint as well. And then these are newer pieces that so I always try to mix old in with the new. So it just, the theme is sort of kind of colorful and fun.
And do you have a name for this masterpiece?
This piece is called Bugs, Bugs, and Bugs because, well, I guess there's bugs. So,
well,
but for
those of you who love bugs,
There
is
you
the
go.
piece
This
for
is
you.
flowers and bugs. And so that was kind of, I tend to try to work in series. I'll get an idea of some of the series that I am, so I'll do like 3 or 4 pieces or more sometimes to a series. So this is another piece in that same series.
Okay.
And this one features, I have 2 dogs and they're spotted dachshunds. So I do a lot of dachshund themed pieces, and they're good for many reasons. They're such a known shape that I can sort of bend them when I do abstracts. I can I can use them in any shape and form, and they still sort of hold up. And so the theme on this one was the dogs being so short. They were lower than the flowers. And I also had, again, more bugs and then more of the old 50s and 60s beads.
Very nice.
Yeah, so these were very early on. These are probably from 2007 or 2008. I was doing a lot of more mixed media then. I also do collage on canvas. I don't have any of that with me today, but I tend to jump around a lot. I'll get an idea and I'll do 5 or 6 of something, and then I'll go off into a different direction completely. And I happen to have a lot of mixed media today. This piece here is what I'd refer to as my traditional work. Is about as traditional as you're going to get with me. I do some landscapes.
So unique.
And yeah, these are great to do. I like doing the trees. Again, they're about as traditional as I'm ever going to get. And these are just, I start with painting the trees, and then again, these are all different, more old beads, and then I just collect all kinds of different stones. These are all different shaped beads, and these are actually multicolored leaves. And what happened with this was only supposed to start as 1 layer, but then by the time I got done with 1 layer, I'd find 1 more spot that needed another leaf, and then I'd end up with another layer.
Never stop.
And then I'd find another spot. So this is actually 3 layers thick of leaves, and it's pretty heavy, but.
So creative.
Yeah, I just love doing the mixed media.
Now, what is the name of this?
This is called Fall. So that
Here
was
we
another.
are.
Yeah, there we go. This is fall number. I number things because then sometimes I run out of ideas on, and then this is also another one of my fall paintings, but this is just all paint. And again, obviously, it's, I like those clean lines. Everything was measured with the mechanical drawing and the architecture, so that influence kind of comes through. And the thought was to just create a simple field of trees in the fall with all the colors, and the goal was to try to get them all a little bit different. This is obviously the tree in the front because it's covering everything with the bigger leaves, and then they sort of work their way back. As they get further back, the leaves are a little smaller, and as they go, as they go backward, the dots get much smaller. One of these this painting took me probably about a month to do, and when I'm done, I don't do another one right away because that's a lot of dots of color. It can be because what happens after a while, your brain just sort of shuts down. You can't think about what other color to put near the color again.
Well, it's such tedious and intricate work, painting.
This type of a painting can be very time-consuming because it's very close. It's you've got to you can't sort of, when I do my abstracts, I can just kind of go with the flow, and the painting sort of has a feeling. It sort of talks to me where where the color is supposed to go. It's easier, but this has to be it still has that kind of an effect, but you have to really sort of map it out first. And okay, when I'm working, I'm just working on a small section at a time, working my way through.
Well, the results are very worth it.
Yeah, I have quite a few of those. I hop around a lot. So like I said, I would do one of those and then have to take a break. And I did them in between other paintings. And then now these are some more. This series is actually going to be about 30 paintings altogether. The original one was an abstract that I did, and I never have a problem thinking of titles for anything. And the first one that I did, I guess I should have brought that painting, but I didn't. But the first painting I did, I could not think of a title, so I posted on Facebook and asked people to come up with a title for the painting, and I figured I'd get, you know, 1 or 2 people. I had almost 40 people that gave me a title. So then I felt, well, okay, now I should probably obviously pick one of those titles. And then I said, well, what I'll do is I marked all the titles down and who gave me a title. And this series, I'm working backwards now. When I get a title, I'll pick a title. What does the title mean to me? How am I interpreting the title? And I work backwards, so I have the title first, and then I create the painting to go with.
So what is the title of this?
This one is called Hypnotic. And so, yes, obviously for, you know,
For obvious reasons.
for the obvious reason. Yeah, it was interesting, the different titles that I got for the original one. They were very varied. And then this one is called Flashback. This was another title that was given to me. And I was kind of thinking of someone sort of having a memory of like a childhood memory of another time. And, you know, you sort of space out. You're not in reality. You're not here. You're somewhere else in this thought process. And that was the thought that I had, what flashback meant to me. And so this is sort of what came out of, I have to, again, have a basic idea of what I want to do. Everything has to be measured, you know, because all of the colors are sort of bleeding out into the background design. So it can be pretty, some of these are very, very difficult to get done because you just have to really map it all out.
You know, so many of us who are non-artists look at paintings and say, oh my gosh, I can go home and do that. No, 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 no. It's not like that at all. It's talent.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think
it's a lot of planning too.
Yeah, you have to have a thought process behind it. You know, when I do an abstract, it's more about the feeling of what the painting represents. But something like this is so, you know, I had a very specific idea of what I wanted to accomplish. And so you have to draw it out. You have to measure. All this has to be measured.
Right.
There's no other way. So that's more of the difficulty is the measuring, the preparing for it, and then you go in and you can start putting your colors in, and then you've got to make sure, you know, you've got to pick your colors so they're looking right next to each other.
Right.
And
that could be a problem.
Well, luckily that's kind of my favorite thing is color. So I'm very good at picking. I know which colors, which shades will work with another color to pop really well. And sometimes it's a matter of just having done it so many times. Okay, I'll pick a color and I'll put it next to another color and think it will look good. And sometimes it just doesn't look good, so then I have to cover it over. So you learn kind of from your mistakes as you start doing paintings. You learn, every painting I do is really a learning experience. I know what's going to work, what's not going to work. You know, you mess up enough, you say, okay, that was a disaster, that's not going to work. So I know not to do that again.
And it takes years of experience and many mistakes to
yeah, I think so. And I think you just have to be willing to, you know, make a disaster to get something, you know, good. Sometimes I'll work on a painting and I'll have a specific idea, and once I start doing it, it's just not going to work out the way that I want it to, and it completely ends up something else, something entirely different. And so it just kind of depends. And then I've had paintings that I've done have come out exactly as I wanted them to come out.
Oh, that's nice.
So,
that happens.
Yeah, that is nice. And now this one is another title that was given to me. This one's called Lava Lamp A Go-Go. Although people think that this is also ice cream cones, and
they look like lava lamps.
Well, I do them to look like lava lamps, but sometimes that happens to me. I'll do a painting, and somebody will look at it and get a completely different thing than what I'm trying to say, and so that's interesting because that's what I like why I like doing the painting, because I think everybody will look at it and come up with something different. So, and then this is another one. This is one of the last ones. This one's called Colorful Conversation. And so again, I was splitting up the canvas. The idea was to split into have four people all talking at each other, and all sort of talking something different. Why the design was to signify the differences of the conversation and who was maybe not listening to the other person. And then I had the big lips in the middle with an eye. If somebody was watching, everybody's watching what's going on. So that's kind of, and this series will continue on. I've got many more to do with that specific series.
Well, these paintings are so awesome.
Yeah, it's nice to do a lot of different things. I jump around. It's all colorful, but I like to jump around. I get bored quickly, and then sometimes I'll revisit something else.
And I'm not sure if you've noticed, he also does furniture. Ricky finds old pieces that are no use to other people, and he creates masterpieces out of them.
Yeah, I really try to.
You have a table right here.
Yep, this is a piece I picked up in a yard sale for $5, and I decided to. I just grab a piece, and then I try to have to go along and decide the coloring. My thought was to make each leg, each piece different, and then I wanted to make the kissing fish on them.
And here's another one.
Now this piece is an old, very old piece. This has got it's an old eagle leg table that I had found, and I decided to. And then the top obviously has a nice intricate design. So the thought behind it was to
the little jewels all around.
and then the stones around the edge. So again, I had to, each piece is a different color. So this was very, very time consuming to do. And then I sort of put a clear glaze on top of everything. This piece is another yard sale find, and this is called Butterfly Garden, and it has each section.
So unique.
Yeah, this is a fun piece to do. It has butterfly beads all around the sides. Along all the edges.
The back of it.
And the back of it has the daisies on it. Yeah, this is a really fun piece. And then I have butterfly stickers with jewels on them. I've got the thing of flowers in the front with more bugs. I have birds on the side. I kind of incorporated everything, beads, and the bugs and the butterflies and the birds into it.
Such creativity. Really?
Yeah, that was kind of a fun piece to do. That took me quite a while.
And we also have another one right here.
Yep, this is another small piece that I found, and the theme of this piece is just a happy table sun with the sun and the lips. And I like to do, the spindle is, once you do the spindle in all different colors, it really sort of pops, and you get to see like each separate section of, if it was all the same, the detail wouldn't come out through that.
I notice we have another piece in the back of me here.
Yeah, that piece is, that's my Statue of Liberty. It's kind of like a funky, I don't even know what you would call it. It's like a standing bookcase table. I found that somewhere many years ago and decided to create a unique piece. Some of them are more like that technically isn't a functional piece. I mean, it's more just for the sake of being an art piece. But some of the pieces are, like this could be a functional piece of furniture.
Exactly.
With just the painting.
Definitely.
So I kind of like to do both. It depends what each piece kind of calls for.
Your pieces are absolutely wonderful, creative, unique, and one of a kind.
Well, yeah, I get that a lot, one of a kind, colorful, yeah. I like to make everything really different. I don't like to do what other people are doing, and I enjoy it.
So tell us about the gallery in Cranston. Hope.
Yeah, New Hope Art Gallery.
New Hope Gallery.
It's in the Thomas C. Slater Training School in Cranston. It's a brand new building. It's about 5 years old. and it's state-of-the-art building. The at-risk youth in the care of the state are housed there. They get a full education. They work with them with teaching them skills. And shortly before the building opened, my friend Lisa Berduti from DCYF asked me to come into the building because it's such a beautiful building, but it had no artwork in it at all. So she asked me to come in, do a tour of the building with the goal of trying to get artwork into this building. And so I gave them different ideas. The proposal that was passed was to create a gallery space in the main entrance of the building. And so we had our first show in 2010 at the dedication of the building. And at that time we had 3 artists and 15 pieces of art. And we're having the 18th of this month, November 18th, will be our 4th anniversary show. And we now have probably over 300 pieces of art, and we'll have
Amazing.
Close to 75 artists in this show. So it's really kind of taken off. We have 2D art, we have 3D art, we do a little bit of everything. We have a sculpture garden now outside. We have 3 separate areas: the main foyer gallery, we have an administrative wing gallery where we put big canvases up. And then we have the outside with, we can do sculpture, metal sculpture, all kinds of different things. And it's nice. It's open to all artists. It's a, state building, so we keep it open to everybody. Obviously there's content issues, because it's youth. But we're open to pretty much all styles, whether it's we do photography, everything. I've shown mixed media, right? Glass pieces, we have fabric art, all kinds of sculpture, wood, everything. We can show everything. They're really wonderful about...
I've been there, and there's such an array of different talent hanging on the walls on display.
Part of the challenge was that it's a beautiful building, but it was never designed to be a gallery. And so you have to think outside the box. You have to be
creative.
really imaginative to get all kinds of art into this space.
So those of you out there, if you have nothing to do, and please try hard to go, November 18th,
5 to 7:30.
5 to 7:30, the New Hope Gallery.
It's at
and it's located
at 57 Power Road in Cranston, Rhode Island, near Chapel View, that plaza behind there. And it's open to...
Please try to attend. You won't be sorry.
We have an opening the shows run every 4 months. We rotate all the work through. We have a nice opening, and then if someone is interested in giving me, in having a tour, they can contact me through my website. I have a link to our blog on our gallery, so they can read up on the gallery and everything.
What is your website address?
It's www.rickygagnon.com, and anyone can contact me. I have all my arts on there as well, but we have a blog about the gallery. There's a link to that. They can look at the gallery, what we're doing. If they're interested in showing artwork, they can contact me about being in a show.
Great.
So it really is a wonderful project. We show some of the resident art. And they're really, really talented, so it's nice for them as well. It's really just a great opportunity.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Well, for those of you out there who have an interest in art and you'd like to contact Ricky, again, your website address is?
www.rickygagnon.com.
Okay, so please contact Ricky. And for those of you who's just tuned in for the first time, Talent Time with Don Edward is all about local artists and musicians and talent, singers. So it's to educate the local community and what's out there. My name is Don Edward, and thank you very much for tuning in to us. Thank you, Ricky. You've been wonderful.
Thanks, Don, for having me.
And thank you for bringing your wonderful creative pieces.
Yeah, it was great fun.
How lucky can one guy be? I kissed her and she kissed me. Like the fella once said, ain't that a kick in the head? Well, the room was completely black. I hugged her and she hugged back. Like the sailor said, quote, ain't that a whole